Hello everyone. I'm going to be doing another kill count on Scream 2, released in 1997, less than a year than the original, and smashed all expectations that all critics and audiences loved. Well, most of them, the writer Kevin Williamson and director Wes Craven, returned to make Scream 2. With them came the surviving cast from the original, and with a much bigger budget since the original became such a hit in the film industry. Indus, sorry, um, original became such a hit in the film industry. Can't say that word. Sidney Prescott has moved uh, onto the onto the fictional Windsor College in Ohio. As well, she is having a hard time moving with the events of the original, so they had to make a movie about it. Uh, Scream 2 is similar to the original in terms of tone and quality, but based on the rules Randy gave us. It does have a slightly bigger kill count. How much higher? We'll find out and get to the killings. Scream 2 has a similar opening to the original killings. Established actress to kick off the movie this time is Jada Pinkett Smith, played Maureen Evans, a chick who is not excited for the new movie Stab. Her boyfriend Phil Stevens convinced her to see the movie anyway. They sat down and watched it watched the like the original, but with different cast members, and one with Heather Graham, who is fictionalized version of Casey Becker. Phil heads to the bathroom and finds out the urinals have been taken by some friendly ghost faces. So he steps into a room that has a toilet, and he heard some weird noises coming from the next toilet over. When he puts his ear closer for a better listen, Ghostface stabs Phil in the ear from the next toilet over, and that is our first kill in the movie. Well, that just gives it. Phil Stevens stabbed in the head 8 minutes into the movie. Yeah. If the stab wound from the head didn't kill him, I think the infection from the floor would. Have Ghostface sit next to Maureen Evans. Is it Maureen Evans? I think. And after she gets scared and covers against his shoulder, she finds blood on his jacket. Then he gets his knife as well and stabs Maureen in the stomach and tries to get away from the killer, but he follows. The Ghostface follows her, stabbing her in the back and in the stomach a couple of times, and in the side of her as well. And the audience cheers as she stumbles onto the stage and gives out a big scream before falling back and dying in the front of everyone for our second kill of the movie. So Maureen Evans, 11 minutes into the film, stabbed a whole bunch of times. It's sad that she got killed off because everyone was not paying attention. That's just sad. After our title card pops up with a slash, we get reintroduced to Sidney Prescott, who has now learned how to use caller ID to ward off people who are trying to act like Ghostface. She and her roommate Haley find out about the movie theatre killings on TV, and reporters swarm her because of the connection at Sydney, same college as Randy Meeks, who has a debate in film class with new characters Cece Cooper and Mickey Altero. They argue about the merits of sequels, which is really an excuse for the characters to be self-aware and borderline meta. The murders attract Deputy Dewey to town, who's limping around way outside his jurisdiction. So I'm not good with words. To check on Sydney to see if she's okay. The media circus also stirs up Gail Weathers, who blows into town with a new cameraman named Joel, since her last one got their throat slit. Gail hits up Sydney, who puts frenemy move by confronting her with Cotton Weary, recently exonerated from the crime of murdering Sydney's mom, Maureen Prescott. Cotton just wanted to make amends, but Sydney ain't having it. So she slaps Gail. So she backslaps Gail to the ground. Guess they're not going to be BFFs anymore. And another person she's not going to be BFFs with is Dewey, because of what she said about him in her book. That night there is a big sorority party and house party. Another sorority sister, played Cece, who gets a call from a familiar voice. As can be expected, the call returns into harassment and while Cece chats with another sorority sister, Ghostface slips into in the front door. He attacks Cece and chases her up multiple staircases, where she throws plants and bicycles at him. At Ghostface. Ghostface catches up to her and throws her through the glass window onto the balcony. Ghostface stabs her a bunch of times in the back, then lifts her up and throws her off the balcony and falling onto the concrete, giving us our third kill of the movie. So, third kill, Cece Cooper, 35 minutes in, stabbed a bunch of times and thrown 3 stories down. Everyone hears about Cece's murder, so they all rush out, and Sydney goes back into the house to get her jacket. She gets a familiar phone call from Ghostface. Ghostface attacks her just like because they're just because just like the original. It's not afraid of putting Sydney into danger early on. She escapes them because she's Sydney Prescott, and she reunites with her boyfriend Derek. Derek goes into the house to find Ghostface. Dewey arrives and tries to find Ghostface as well, and he sees Derek with blood coming out of his hand because Ghostface slashed his arm. Dewey was questioning Derek to see why he went into the house alone. Gail figures out because Dewey thinks that Derek is the killer. Yeah. So Gail figures out we have a copycat thing based on the names of the victims, because a copycat, because the original, because let me just read off the names. So you got Phil Stevens, Steve from the original, Maureen Evans, Maureen Prescott, Cece Cooper. Found out Cece's real name is Casey Becker. Which I really liked. And Sydney gets a couple of detectives to shadow her from now on. Everyone, starting everybody as a suspect, with Mickey naming Randy as a possible killer. So maybe Derek should just act normal and not start singing to sit in front of the entire school cafeteria. It's super cringy after watching a scene from Stab. It's super cringy. After watching a scene from Stab where Tori Spelling plays Sydney and Luke Wilson plays Billy Loomis, Randy explains the rules to the sequel. Number 1, the body count is always bigger. Number 2, the death scenes are more elaborate, more blood, more gore. While hanging out on the campus, Randy answers Gail's phone to find out Ghostface is on the other end. Randy, Gail, and Dewey are trying to figure out who is making these calls. Gail and Dewey from tracking the killer down in time to save Randy, who is pulled into Gail's news van and gets stabbed a bunch of times, giving us our 4th kill of the movie, which is unfortunately Randy Meeks, an hour and 5 minutes into the film, stabbed a bunch of times off screen. For me, this was a very sad kill since I'm a fan of Randy's character. It was quite sad. And the library said get some creepy proto-AOL message from the killer, and then Cotton Weary shows up bugging her about doing an interview with Diane Sawyer. He gets roused up enough for the detectives to slam him against the wall and took him to the police station, where Caution gets upset with the way he is being treated. He's not the only one affected by this, seems. Like everyone on the edge, with Gale cussing out Debbie Salt, a cameraman Joel quitting his job out of fear for his life. Dewey and Gale manage to bond though, so they take Joel's tapes to the university auditorium to see if they can find any clues. Dewey finds a hot one, another tape with footage of the kills they spot from the movie. They spot Ghostface in the projector booth, and during the ensuing chase, Dewey separates Gale, and Gale watches Dewey through soundproof glass as Dewey gets stabbed in the back by Ghostface yet again, spitting up blood and sliding down the window in a dramatic fashion. But he doesn't make it onto the kill count because, spoiler alert, they just repeated the dead Dewey fake out like the original. Gale manages to lock Ghostface out of her room long enough for him to get bored and do this disappearance act after Sidney and Haley leave with the detectives. Detail Derek gets ambushed by his frat douche brothers, who are mad at him for giving his Greek letters to Sidney. They tie him up to the theatre set design and engage in some really weird hazing ritual because they're so cool and fratty. Hashtag Greek life. In the cop car, detectives make a couple of shitty and borderline jokes before Ghostface pops up and heckle them with a throat flute for Officer Andrews. These guys were never given much personality to work with as characters, but at least they're able to beef up the body count. So that's the fifth kill. Officer Andrews, an hour and 26 minutes in, with a throat slit. Officer Richard survives his initial bout with Ghostface and pops up to try and shoot him, but Ghostface turns him into a horde ornament and drives recklessly through the streets, eventually crashing into some pipes that impaled Officer Richard's head. And that is our sixth kill for the movie, an hour and 27 minutes, and pipe impaled through the back of the head. Yeah. Sidney and Haley tear through the police car mash and crawl over the passed out Ghostface to get out of the car. Not sure why they didn't just try and choke or kill Ghostface there, but they get out and Sidney wants to know who is under the mask. Well, dun dun dun, Ghostface is not in the car, and Ghostface jumps from the back of Haley and stabs her in the chest and dropping her like it's hot. You don't want to be friends with Sidney Prescott because all of them just die. Like, from the original, what's her name? Tatum got stuck in a carriage door and died. And then the other one, which, Sidney is alright though. She runs off and Ghostface gets tired, I guess. She makes her way back to the theatre where she finds Derek strung up and passed out. Ghostface shows up and reveals that it is Mickey. You know, that character you haven't seen since that cafeteria scene like 45 minutes earlier. So yeah, that's kind of lame. Mickey tries to indict Derek to his partner in crime, causing Sidney to hesitate, cutting him down. And then Mickey makes it feel really bad by shooting Derek in the chest. It's kind of a bummer that most of the killings are like stabbings and shootings, but I can't appreciate the physiological damage that Mickey did to Sidney. And that gives us... Oh crap, I've already forgot to do Haley McDaniel. Yeah, so Haley McDaniel was the 7th kill, around 31 minutes, and stabbed in the chest a bunch. Then the 8th is Derek Feldman, an hour and 37 minutes, and shot in the chest. That Mickey did to Sidney right there. Mickey goes on a standard killer, tell all wrath saying how he wanted to be caught so he can blame it on the movies and get famous from the trial. These days, it's all about the trial, says Mickey. Derek's body is struck up from the stage, revealing that there is a second killer, and walks out. Gale, who is not the second killer. Come on. Instead, it's Debbie Salt, when Sydney immediately recognises Mrs. Loomis. In the other words, that lady is Billy's mother. Yep, her motives a lot. Her motives a lot more than Mickey's. You killed my son. That is a classic Pamela Voorhees-like revenge show. She shows off her crazy and little more. She's a crazy. Her crazy a little more. She shows off her crazy a little more by shooting Mickey a couple of times, who he is falling down, and shoots Gale, causing her to stage dive into a table. Debbie goes. Goes over her whole plan to frame Mickey as a sole murderer here before Sydney hits her with a beer bottle and gets away. She takes an axe to a bunch of ropes behind the stage, essentially attacking Mrs. Loomis with college theatre production designs. There's a big old ruckus with swinging lights, fake flickering flames, before some cardboard brick stalk Mrs. Loomis and bury her. She's not done yet, though, peeping out and attacking Sydney for another round and actually getting very close to stabbing her before Cotton Weary shows up and holds both of them at gunpoint. Debbie pleads with her crazy eyes and tries to turn Cotton against Sydney, but Sydney knows how to win over Cotton's heart because of that interview with Diane Sawyer, and Sydney said that consider it done. And Cotton shoots Mrs. Loomis, and this actually does kill her. The survivors are a little concerned since they know that the killers will pop out for one last scare. So that is the 9th kill for the movie. Debbie Loomis, an hour and 48 minutes in, shot. She got shot in the head. Got a little concerned since I know that the killer will pop out for one last scare, and rightfully so. Mickey pops out before Sydney and Gale shoots the heck out of him and killing him for real, giving us our 10th kill for the movie. Mickey Altero, an hour and 50 minutes, and shot a ton of times, giving us our 10th kill for the movie and the last one as well. Just to be safe, Sydney puts a bullet into Mrs. Loomis' head once again. The movie ends with Dewey on the wheeled out stretcher. This time Gale goes with him instead of filing a report. Sydney directs a group of reporters over to Cotton to give him fame he desperately wants, then walks off into the quad content with a job well done. And a great sequel. What do we say? Let's get to the scaling. 10 people died. 6 were male, 4 were female. 3 more than the original, so I guess the rule higher body count held true. 6 of the victims were male and 4 of them were female, giving us a bit of a balanced pie chart with 6 male and 4 female. Then in Scream 1, so we got a more balanced pie chart than in Scream 1. With a runtime of 2 hours flat, that gives us a kill on average every 12 minutes, which is a bit more frequent than the original. I'll give the coolest kill to Officer Richards because that was the most coolest and goriest kill in the movie, and I liked how his hand was twitching when his head literally got a pipe impaled through the back of his head, and then you just move to his hand, which is twitching. That is so cool. Then the dumbest kill will have to go to Derek. Like, just a gun bullet in the chest. Come on. We have way better kills in this movie than a gun bullet. Well, very, very close was Haley, because a knife in the chest a bunch of times could have been better, but I will let that one slide. And there you go, released in 1997, Scream 2 is a great movie follow-up to the genre-changing original, with everyone in the cast and crew excited to make a sequel, despite some frantic production issues. Next up, we'll be looking at Scream 3, which had even more production problems and was not a solid of a sequel. But there you go. Thank you for watching my kill count for Scream 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned to more videos coming out this weekend and next week. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. It'll be a big help. Thank you for watching. Take care. Peace.